March 1918. After nearly 4 years of slaughter, Europe was exhausted. Millions were dead. Empires were cracking. Yet the war was not finished. In its final year, World War I would become more violent, more desperate, and more deadly than ever before. Germany knew this was its last chance. With Russia out of the war, German divisions were transferred from the Eastern Front to the West. For the first time in years, Germany had more soldiers than its enemies. American troops were arriving, but not yet in full strength. The German High Command decided to strike before it was too late. At dawn on March 21, 1918, the silence along the Western Front shattered. Thousands of German guns opened fire at once. But this bombardment was different. Instead of days of warning, it lasted only hours. Poison gas shells mixed with high explosives. Fog rolled across the battlefield. Then German stormtroopers advanced quietly, slipping through gaps in the Allied lines. This was Operation Michael, the beginning of the German Spring Offensive. British trenches were overrun. Entire units were cut off and destroyed. For the first time since 1914, the war became mobile again. The front lines collapsed. Soldiers retreated through ruined villages and shattered roads, fighting desperate rearguard actions. Many believed the war might be lost. Paris was shelled by long-range guns. Civilians fled in panic. Allied commanders argued, blamed one another, and feared disaster. Only one thing stopped the collapse: unity. For the first time, Allied forces were placed under a single commander, General Ferdinand Foch. Still, the cost was horrifying. German soldiers advanced through ground soaked with the bones of earlier battles. Victory seemed close, but each step forward cost thousands of lives. The German army was winning ground, but bleeding itself dry. Then, slowly, the tide began to turn. By summer 1918, American soldiers were arriving in massive numbers, young, well-fed, and full of confidence. They brought fresh energy to a war-weary front. In battles like Belleau Wood, American troops fought with brutal determination, stopping German advances at terrible cost. On August 8, 1918, the Allies struck back. The Battle of Amiens began with surprise, speed, and overwhelming force. Tanks rolled forward through the mist. Aircraft roared overhead. Infantry advanced behind a precise artillery barrage. German defenses collapsed in hours. General Ludendorff called it the Black Day of the German army. From that moment, the war no longer asked if Germany would lose, only when the Allied advance became relentless. This phase became known as the 100 Days Offensive. Day after day, German forces were pushed back. Supply lines broke down. Morale collapsed. Desertions increased. Hunger spread through both the army and the civilian population. Inside Germany, revolution was brewing. Soldiers were tired of dying. Workers were starving. Sailors mutinied. The empire that had marched confidently into war in 1914 was now tearing itself apart from within. On November 9, 1918, the Kaiser abdicated the throne and fled into exile. Germany became a republic overnight. 2 days later, in a railway carriage deep in the forest of Compiègne, German representatives signed an armistice. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the guns finally fell silent. For many soldiers, the silence was unbearable. Men stood in trenches unsure what to do. Some cried, some laughed, some simply stared at the sky, unable to believe they were still alive. After years of noise, death, and fear, peace felt unreal. But the war did not truly end that day. Europe was shattered. Entire generations were gone. Empires had collapsed. German, Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, Russian. Borders were redrawn. Old hatreds remained. New ones were born. The Treaty of Versailles would soon punish Germany harshly, planting the seeds for another war even more terrible than the first. World War I ended in 1918, but its shadow stretched far into the future. It was a war that promised glory and delivered graves, a war that changed the world forever. And in its final year, as in all the others, it proved one cruel truth: even when wars end, their consequences never do.